The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in and welcome back. This is hour number 2 of The Local Show. Get ready for riveting interviews with Randy Wolken, President and CEO of MACNY. And then we're going to talk with Michael Johnson, who is the owner of Pro Snow Removal. He'll bring a friend, Zachary Heck, who's a 12-year-old entrepreneur. We'll find out what that relationship's all about. And then John Kupperman stops by. He's the owner of Smith Restaurant Supply. And we'll wrap things up with Scott McClurg, who is the founder and co-owner of McClurg Remodeling. Randy Wolken, thanks for coming. We love having you.
Thanks for having me in again.
Yeah. So, Randy, for those people who don't know, give a little bit of your background and then how you became president and CEO of MACNY. All that.
Okay, well, I've been doing it for 23 years, so I have to think way back. Yeah, when I started when I was 12. I'll do. This is a fantastic organization. It's over 350 companies now and growing. All the manufacturers you've heard of, both high-tech and traditional companies, are all members of ours, plus companies that serve them. So I started this, like I said, over 2 decades ago, and what's really great about it now is just how much manufacturing has grown and how critical it is now to the high-tech economy we're building here in Central New York. So that makes it really exciting. Literally hundreds of job openings, companies really excited about being in Central New York. And as we know, this is a sort of a renaissance for manufacturing. We haven't seen this in generations.
Right. So you mentioned high tech. A lot of times us older folks like Steve think of manufacturing.
Us,
yeah, right. Yeah. Think of manufacturing as ball bearings and sheet metal, but it's not. It is to include all the new high tech things that are happening.
Sure. It still is ball bearings and sheet metal for some companies, but the vast majority of companies are now in this advanced manufacturing, high-tech space, semiconductors, think biotechnology.
Right.
Think, next generation chemicals, plastics, all the kinds of things that are a part of our modern life now are made increasingly in this country. Mm-hmm. And so that's what's exciting about it, is the kinds of jobs are high-tech. They're jobs where you actually can go right to work. Comes will train you in those specialties. So great career opportunities here in the community once again. And for those who've lived here all their life, there was a time when Central New York and New York was the place to make things, and I believe that's going to be the future.
Mm-hmm. So if you are a manufacturer or a high-tech firm, do you have to be a member of MACNY?
Just say yes.
Well, of course, it should be.
Well, I'm just wondering if there's outliers out there.
Yeah, well, on occasion there are companies that don't join, but that's really rare. Most people understand that the things we do connect them to their colleagues, get them to see the high-tech manufacturing going on in the firms all around this community. The advocacy we do statewide, at the federal and state level, the specific workforce development programming we do to help them, everything from training CEOs to training their staff to really the preeminent apprenticeship programming nationally now. But throughout the state of New York, we have 1,000 apprentices under our program management, because we're the intermediary that helps companies run these programs. So increasingly, companies understand that the services we provide and the way in which they can connect to the community through us is of tremendous value. And we've been doing it for 111 years, so we know what we're doing.
Wow.
I haven't been there the whole time, but we've been doing it for 111 years.
There's a rumor.
Yeah, yes,
going around.
That long?
There's a rumor. No, there's a rumor going around that Micron is coming to town. Is there any evidence, real evidence of that? Is that going to happen?
It's absolutely happening. They have already prepared. They're prepared their specific environmental requirements. The construction will start later this year into next year. Production will happen in 2028 approximately. It absolutely is happening. It's not a question of if it's going to happen. It's just a question of how it rolls out, how quickly the facility gets built, and how quickly we both staff it and it's up and running. They're building really a prototype of what they're building here in Boise as we speak, and that's sort of the test space where then from learning there they'll be doing 2 fabs here, and then ultimately we believe 4 fabs. So yeah, it's imminent.
How do you prepare for that?
Well, as a community, it's really hard to prepare for it. I mean, we're literally talking, when full build out, 50,000 jobs. MACNY alone will have 9,000 of those jobs over the next 20 years. But beyond that, all the related supply chain jobs and community jobs and quite frankly, all of the new people that will move here, a projection of at least 100,000 people moving to Onondaga County alone. So as a community, that's the hard part, is getting prepared for that kind of momentous
that influx.
investment.
I was thinking, my daughter just got her first teaching job, and
Does that mean she's moving out of the house now?
No, it won't happen that fast.
Okay, just checking. Just checking.
I'm sure she'll bilk us for another year or two.
Just checking.
Keep her at home.
Yeah, right. But I was thinking about the school situation because all the schools are so packed. I live up in Cicero. I'm just down the road from this whole thing, and
Your house is going to be worth a lot more, by the way.
Yes, well, we're already seeing that quite a bit, which is great. But it does present a problem. How do you prepare for medical and for schools? So two very important things. How many well carers can we have, because they're already flooded, and you have a hangnail and you wait in the room for an hour to get seen. What's going to happen with that, and what's going to happen with schools? Will we break into different districts? Are they going to build schools, more schools?
Yeah, well, they'll have to build more classrooms and space given the population growth. And that's part of the challenge, is when to do that and how to do that and how quickly to do that. And it's one of the things we've been communicating to our elected representatives and really the community, is the speed in which this is going to happen is going to require us to do things differently. To open schools in a much more quickly, to hire teachers much more quickly, to do those kinds of things that require really scaling like our community.
Oh, safety as well, right? Your police forces have to beef up.
All those things. And so that you can make your head hurt if you're trying to think about doing all those things. Luckily, I think there are community leaders, and I know the state's focused too on helping us get ready, but it will take a community to do it.
So speak to somebody that has kids or grandkids and they think, I've got to go to college for 4 or 6 years, as manufacturing is maybe you don't. Speak to that for a second.
Sure. I think what's great about this is you can choose either path. You can go right to work with a high school education, or you can go to college. And I think we need to make those paths equivalent. These MACNY jobs will be half of them. 4,500 of the 9,000 over the next 20 years will be technicians. So literally we'll be running apprenticeship programs, pre-apprenticeship programs where people can, with a high school education, go right to work. We actually ran a pilot pre-apprenticeship program in the Utica area where high school women who are seniors actually can go right to work right after a 8 or 12 week course.
Is that the workforce development program, or is that something different?
No, actually, Real Life Rosie's and our A2A Advanced to Apprenticeship are pre-apprenticeship pathways, so they're 8 to 12 weeks, usually with a stipend, usually with basically some preparatory training, and then you go to right to a company. You're hired, and you actually then you're in an apprenticeship program. You literally go a year, 18 months to 4 years with stackable apprenticeships.
And you've got a great job that pays well.
Fantastic job. Most of these jobs start in 40, 50, 60s, and they go beyond that. Some of the MACNY high-tech jobs will pay over 6 figures. So the reality is this high-tech future of technicians is our future in Central New York. And it's not just in the semiconductor space. Biotech, if you've heard of a company called Lotte, which used to be Bristol Myers Squibb. That company will hire hundreds of people in the biotech space. We got TTM in the national defense space. They're hiring hundreds of people. So we really are a high-tech community of the future. And now you have both pathways available, to work.
So that information, MACNY.org, if I have that right, they can so they can share it with the family and friends, and there's possibilities there.
Yeah, we have a career and talent platform on there. Please put your resume up there, look at job opportunities. Jobs are already posted that are currently open throughout the region, but there literally will be thousands of jobs coming.
Thank you, Randy.
Excellent. Always a breath of fresh air right there, Randy Wolken. Coming up next, folks, we're going to talk with Michael Johnson. He's the owner of Pro Snow Removal, and he's going to bring a friend, Zachary Heck, who's a 12-year-old entrepreneur and owns a company called Grass and Granite Landscaping. We'll see what's going on with both of them right here on the local show on 570 WSYR.